a letter written from my mother to me in September 1976. I was a senior in college. And it's been hidden in my Bible for decades. Actually, I just pulled it out 2 years ago when I became pastor of this church. So it's been sort of missing in my archives, so to speak, of my life. And you can imagine my surprise when I read this letter. Along the beach, when the tide is low, there are puddles with fish or etc. in it. Every shrimp has his own puddle. That is what churches and groups are. But when the tide comes in, that is the Holy Spirit with power, then the church will arise in unity and great glory. When I opened this up and read this part, I said, whoa, what a description of the church today, especially after COVID. And all the pressures that are pressing in on the church and our secular society, okay? So, immediately I thought, we shouldn't be on the defensive, although it's good to have a good defense. We need to have an offensive mindset, right? We shouldn't be in survival mode. We should be in a mode where we are going forward to change our world. We should not be afraid and hunker down and circle our wagons. Okay, it's not the time for doing that. It's the time of going forward. She said something else that I thought was kind of interesting, kind of personal. She said, a boy may pull a boat along the beach, and those who don't understand may think he's nuts. But when the tide comes in, the boy's boat will be ready. And she likened me to a little boy here with a boat. And of course, that may describe my whole life. I've been like a little boy pulling this toy around, and everybody thinks he's nuts. So it helps me understand myself a little bit. But when I became pastor of this church, I thought, And I read this letter, I said, oh, it all comes together. I don't know what you think about private revelations, but you wouldn't want to say anything bad about my mother, would you now? So, we've got this letter. It's not just my letter now, it's our church's letter, okay, from my mother back decades ago, who says, you know, we should be really, really engaged with the Holy Spirit and power. We are called to do something great here. And so, let us all, along with me, pull our little boat along in great anticipation of the tide that's going to come in. I think God's chosen us at St. Joseph to be a major player in this. Not for our own glory, but for the glory of God. So, what do? I think we can start, of course, with the basics, like prayer, of asking God, hey, what do you want to do with my life? But it can be some practical things like, do you know somebody who used to go to church here before COVID but's not going anymore? Just, getting on the jingle with them, saying, hey, come back to Mass. We want you there. Or it could just be making friends with people out in the culture, and when they And when they see your life, there might be opportunity to talk about things that really matter, right? And these are ways in which we can evangelize. And God can do something with us. And in the end, that's what we really want to see. Don't we want to see saying, God did this, this, and this in life, I mean, I'm waiting. I'm still that crazy boy that's nuts. But I know what I know, that God is calling us to something special. God bless.